Good afternoon. This is our statement to the press on the violence which was meted out on Homa Bay people by the Linda Mwananchi team. The content of the press statement I'm going to read is to confirm that that violence and the 16th August rally was solely funded by President Uhuru Kenyatta. To undertake that violence, Honorable Governor James Orengo, Babu Owino, recruited very dangerous criminals, most of whom are facing murder trials currently, most of whom are facing robbery with violence charges. These people included the ones who were intercepted by the police on 15th, and they were in Homa Bay from 1 week before, arranging for the operations and executing the violence. Let me therefore read the statement. In May 2026, Governor James Orengo went to Homa Bay County, where he addressed people in public. In his address, he directed vulgar and unprintable abuses at the governor of Homa Bay, the High Excellency Governor Gladys Atieno Nyasuna Wanga. Governor James Orengo returned to Homa Bay through the lake a week later. He was accompanied by dangerous thugs who were armed with guns, machetes, arrows, and rungus, and who went beating everybody they deemed not to support them as they proceeded to Sindo, where he gave a public address while the thugs continued to attack our people. On the third occasion, Governor James Orengo returned to Homa Bay accompanied by the same dreaded thugs and hardcore criminals who were armed with guns, machetes, arrows, and rungus. During his public address at Homa Bay Market in Homa Bay Town, he hurled unspeakable abuses at the governor of Homa Bay County, Her Excellency Gladys Wanga, and the elected leaders of Homa Bay, including those serving in the National Executive. Thereafter, the Linda Mwananchi team gave a press conference and issued public notices of their intended rally in Homa Bay. Governor Orengo and Babu did several subsequent press addresses to the media, during which they threatened violence upon the people of Homa Bay, stating they had enough goons to take anybody who dared to face them into the grave. You have those addresses somewhere in Doluo. I will give them to you. The Linda Mwananchi team members in Homa Bay later on delivered a notice of their intended 16th August rally to Homa Bay Police Station. After the rally, they also addressed the media, and in their address, they threatened death and violence upon anybody who would be opposed to them when they come for their rally. All these were meant to incite violence and provoke the people before the rally. Governor James Orengo and Babu Owino then recruited the following dreaded criminals and ruthless thugs to execute violence on Homa Bay people during their Linda Mwananchi rally on 16th August 2026. Number 1, Oliver Jaoko, alias Olivetti, was to command the operations, and indeed he was there throughout. He is currently having murder cases, undergoing murder trial before various courts in the country. I'll be giving you those cases. It's a guy who has killed very many people, and he's a guy who works with James Orengo and Babu Owino, including in parliament here. He's the guy the DCI said jumped out of the vehicle which was intercepted headed to Homa Bay from Kisumu through the window. That I will also be confirming to you is a pretense. The police know where he is. Lennox Omondi, who is always with James Orengo and also blogs for him. There is a gentleman, a thug called Vincent, but also called Mungiki, from Manyata Estate in Kisumu. There is Otusa from Manyata Estate, Kisumu. There is one called Chumbinyiri, a well-known murderer from Manyata, Kisumu. There is Mose, another well-known murderer who has undergone several murder trials and is still undergoing some, also from Manyata, Kisumu. There is Omar from Kondele, a person who has been accused of robbery with violence and is currently facing trials for robbery with violence in several cases across the country. There is Owele Commander. There is Eze from Nyalenda. There is Festus, a well-known murderer currently in hiding, having multiple cases also and undergoing trial. There is Charo, currently having multiple murder cases. There is Ferrari from Baraka, Manyata, Kisumu. There is Aguambo from Baraka, Manyata, Kisumu. There is Lawi from Kona Mbuta, currently selling bang at that Kona Mbuta in Kisumu. There is Brown from Nyalenda. Kings from Nyalenda is a boxer. There is Aguati from Manyata. There is Roba, who is working at Berlin Lounge. There is Dabo D, Kaloleni. There is Obobo from Kondele, Kisumu. There is Odoyo Small, Koyango. There is Boy Samba from Stage. This is another renowned and dreaded ruthless robber who robs people with violence. There is and is the killer who works mostly with Olivati. Whenever you see Olivati with Orengo and Babu Owino. Governor James Orengo and Babu Owino also recruited individuals across all towns and trading centers in Homa Bay to coordinate their activities and to enlist for them local people and college and university students to support them during the Homa Bay rally, enticing each of them with a promise of 3,000 shillings. Governor James Orengo and Babu Owino booked these dreaded thugs and hardcore criminals into hotels across Homa Bay County, especially in Homa Bay Town constituency, well before the rally. They operated between Kisumu and Homa Bay County for a week, for a whole week to the 16th of August when the rally was to take place, even as Governor Orengo and Babu Owino continued public addresses threatening violence upon the people of Homa Bay and inciting violence during the Linda MATIANG'I rally, which they scheduled for 16th August. I hope you remember Babu Owino saying they were going to Homa Bay to colonize Homa Bay people, and the threats of, if you are married and your son will be out, let him dig a grave that can bury him before 16th and before he leaves the house on that day. I will be giving you those videos if you don't have them. I had a public meeting with Boda Boda riders to plan an economic activity which we've been scheduling to take place in this month of August. When I finished the meeting, I found a huge crowd of my constituents, mainly consisting of women. I informed them that the Linda MATIANG'I team had brought thugs into Homa Bay and booked them in local hotels to harm our people on 16th August 2026. I told them to stand firmly with the ODM party and behind President William Ruto. I directed all hotel owners to ensure they had full details of their guests and indicated that we would be inspecting the hotels to ensure they harbored none of the hired goons and criminals. And by the way, let me tell you, it is the law. Every hotel owner must keep full details of their guests, and the citizens have the right to arrest. In this case, I had information, and we were going to undertake those inspections. Following my address, which is now very famous and has been twisted, most of the hired thugs and hardcore criminals who were booked in Homa Bay County relocated to Kisii, to hotels in Kisii, where they made their base. And that is why they came from Kisii through Yugis, through Rangwe, through Rodi, going interland that way. So my address helped, and I would still make it if I found them in any of the hotels they are preparing to harm my people. On 14th August 2026, at night, Kenya shillings 100 million was delivered to Governor Orengo's home in Ugenya, Siaya, from President Uhuru Kenyatta. And this money was delivered in 2 suitcases, each carrying 50 million. Governor Orengo was not there, but he can confirm to you that happened. On 15th August 2026, the 100 million shillings which had been delivered to Orengo's Ugenya Siaya home was transported to Governor Orengo's house in Milimani Estate, Kisumu, for use in executing the violence in Homa Bay under the guise of this rally. On 15th August 2026, the police intercepted vehicles carrying some of the above-listed hardcore criminals headed to Homa Bay from Kisumu. This has been reported. You can look at the Facebook account of DCI. The police recovered crude weapons. The police reported that the gang leader named Olivetti, the Oliver Jaokoa was telling you about, had escaped through the window of the vehicle. How would he escape? I'm going to tell you later on that the police aided his escape and facilitated him as he commanded the team that was meeting violence on our people in Homa Bay. The said Oliver is a gang leader of Babu, Owino, and James Orengo, and was with them in public all days preceding 16th August. I will be showing you photos of Oliver with Orengo all over, including on 16th of August, and he was the one commanding and openly walking with pistols ahead of the people. Olivetti and Morara. This Morara, by the way, is a bodyguard of Rigathi Gachagua. He was in Homa Bay. Commanded the hired dreaded thugs and hardcore criminals as they emitted violence on Homa Bay people on 16th of August 2026. So you can see how deep this thing is. On 16th August 2026, the Linda Mwananchi team were in Homa Bay for their rally. They were accompanied by the thugs and hardcore criminals I have mentioned, who used the following vehicles. These were vehicles which were hired by them. And by the way, you will note some of them are vehicles of the county government of Siaya. One of them was a vehicle of Honorable Babu Owino. And they were heavily armed, crude weapons, guns, and licensed firearms, some of which they even dropped in Homa Bay as they were running away. There is Land Rover TDI, there is Subaru KCB 720, there is a motor vehicle KCE 59259T Prado. This Subaru KCB 720B is Honorable Babu Owino's vehicle. And if you followed the event in Homa Bay, it was that Subaru you are seeing ahead, with the people in black, some hooded, carrying openly pistols as they were being, shepherded by police officers. There was a Prado whose number plate was not indicated. There is a vehicle KDA 077S Probox. There is a vehicle KDE 064J at Adimax. There is a motor vehicle CG. This is for a vehicle for county government of Siaya. CG 041 Fortuna, Siaya County. I think it is the vehicle, one of which, the thugs set on fire when they were being surrounded as they were escaping with their firearms. There is motor vehicle Isuzu D-Max GK B389T. This one was directed by the regional police commandant in Kisumu from Moroni police station, and it joined the team to escort the thugs as they emitted violence on our people in Homa Bay. There is motor vehicle KDC 04E stroke GK C5527B. Motor vehicle registration number KDC 115A stroke GK 0515C. There is motor vehicle registration KCM 537G stroke GK B669U. Most of those vehicles I'm mentioning are either vehicles which were ordered by the regional police commandant to shepherd the thugs as they killed our people, or vehicles of Siaya County government. There is motor vehicle, a black Toyota Fortuna KCE 704W. There is white Toyota Prado KDU 495E. There is a cream Toyota Land Cruiser KCE 259T. There is white Toyota Harrier KCA 300T. There is motor vehicle, a white Toyota V8 KBY 382W. These were the vehicles hired by Orengo, Babu Owino, and their team for use by the thugs the week before 16th and during the 16th, and the people which carried the thugs, which now you call goons, to lessen the violence they were meeting on our people. the Linda Mwananchi team had a rally at Nyandiwa and then proceeded to Sindo. As they left Sindo late in the evening, and they left Sindo late in the evening for Homa Bay. As they left, and you can review the videos, Honorable Karoli Omondi said they had to speak briefly at Sindo, at the rally, because they were headed to Homa Bay to fight the people. I will give you the video, part of which was in Luo and part of which was in Kisungu. And you will note from the video, Karoli is calling upon the people of Homa Bay town to come out and be ready. They are on the way to go there and harm them. I will give you the video, which the media is not reporting. Babu Owino organized the goons. You will see the video as Babu Owino is leaving Sindo, telling them, border ahead, our guys to follow. And I want you to look at the video as they enter the main road into Homa Bay town. You will see thugs in jacket ahead of the vehicles with pistols, walking with them, openly. So he organized the goons to march into Homa Bay town, saying they were proceeding to storm Homa Bay town to fight the people whom now he is calling goons. Ask yourselves, how can you say you are going into a rally, but you are saying you are going to fight the people? The Linda Mwananchi team arrived in Homa Bay town constituency at dusk, around 5 p.m., around 7 p.m., around 7 p.m. And you can watch. It was already dusk. Homa Bay town had been tense from morning due to their persistent provocation and incitement. As area MP, I contacted the county police commandant and asked him to exit the convoy out of Homa Bay, away from Homa Bay town. Noting the town was too crowded, tension was high, and it was already dark. And I'll be giving you my communication, including SMS and WhatsApp messages, to the county commandant, asking him exit them away from Homa Bay town, because this would lead to the killing of very many of our people, and at intelligence they planned to do so. Nothing happened. Against my advice, police who were in several land cruisers and lorries and police lorries escorting the Linda Mwananchi team cleared the way for them through town, shooting people with live bullets. Shooting people with live bullets and clearing. And you hear Babu commanding and the thugs walking with pistols. If you are blind to those videos, I'm going to give them to you now. Around Homa Bay Stadium, they had marshaled people, I've told you, and supporters. They had enlisted some with university students from all over Nyanza and Western were in Homa Bay town. They rushed, the supporters, the Linda Mwananchi team had rushed to meet them. The vehicle carrying Babu Owino and Edwin Sifuna hit and killed a lady living in Shauriako Estate in Homa Bay called Lorraine, who was their Linda Mwananchi agent there. So it is the vehicle which carried Sifuna and Babu that hit their own agent they employed there. That lady who died was killed by Sifuna and Babu, and they just left her by the road there. The vehicle, yes, they said thugs accompanying them went cutting people on sight. And by the way, sometimes you can plan bad for people, but you end up cutting your people. The people they were cutting and chopping, those people you see in those hospitals, most of them, and that is the time you see them entering in Homa Bay triumphantly celebrating. They went cutting their people, not knowing they were their people. Most of whom were even from morning showing the one finger salute that we don't, of course, support in Homa Bay. By the time they passed through town, a person had been killed and several hacked and harmed by the Orengo Sifuna Babu thugs. They were deliberately slow as they went through town, as the thugs meted out violence on the people of Homa Bay town in the night. By the way, look at the speed they covered from Sofia just to the corner. And the police are ahead, the police are on the side, they're cutting people as they move. And they are playing that music of theirs, because the money Kenyatta gave had to find use. And it is in the night. What rally was taking place in the night, even by law? From Homa Bay town, they proceeded to Kindu Bay, where again they stopped as thugs meted violence on our people. And you see James Orengo saying people stopped him. Those are their people they mobilized from the morning. But as they were speaking to people, Kindu, now it is approaching 9 p.m., 9 to 10. It is dark. They are still hacking people. The thing was to stop so that the thugs they had paid hurt as many of our people as possible. Throughout their journey of violence in Homa Bay County, the Linda Mwananchi team had the full support and were escorted by lorries and land cruisers of police, including GSU officers. Review those videos. Behind them were 4 lorries. Ahead, actually 3 lorries. Ahead, 2 lorries of GSU. Then you have land cruisers. I know the police were under instructions to abet and aid the goons as they attacked our people. The regional commandant based in Kisumu was personally in charge of the operations to guard the Linda Mwananchi goons as they emitted violence on our people and to abet their criminal activities, which included openly brandishing firearms as they moved through Homa Bay town. I mean, how does police walk with civilians carrying pistols openly? The way you see command, and that is why even the county police commandant and the police officers in that operation could not even heed me as the leader to take measures that would reduce harm to our people. Mr. Brian Weke, and you never saw him in Homa Bay on 16th. I want to tell you where he was. He met the regional police commandant on 16th and passed to her Kenya shillings 5 million for full police support as Linda Mwananchi team and goons killed and maimed our people. And by the way, after the regional police commandant received this money, she was now commanding the operations not from Kisumu, but she was taken to her home in Migori, where she was, commanding from. And she could not be reached to give instructions to ameliorate the suffering of our people. Even the operations order issued by the police on the day appeared to indicate that the Linda Mwananchi thugs, the ones who were intercepted on 15th, were people going to interfere with the rally. Despite this being thugs known to be thugs of Babu, Owino, and Orengo, and recruited to go and kill people under the guise of that purported rally. I want to thank our people, and this I want to say from the very deep bottom of my heart. I want to thank the people of Homa Bay for keeping peace against provocation and incitement to violence. I especially want to thank our young people, the ODM Youth League of Homa Bay, for exercising extreme restraint, even as our enemies meted violence on our people. If our youths did not restrain themselves, and I thank them, we would be talking of different stories. Our youths, thank you so much for keeping peace. And if you saw even the people who were in town, it was 2-finger salute and chants of 2-term. Nothing in the hand. If they did not exercise restraint, we would be talking of a different story today. We demand security provision for the governor of Homa Bay County, Her Excellency Gladys Wanga. The thugs had instructions from their principals to kill her on 16th August 2026. Her life remains under grim danger and threat. And if you look at even the posts they are making, they are still threatening. They are still threatening. So we are asking the state security apparatus to firm her support. We demand the immediate transfer from Homa Bay of the Nyanza, not from Homa Bay, but we demand the immediate transfer and removal of the Nyanza regional police commandant and all the officers who aided the violence upon our people. We don't want that woman in Kisumu and where she can work for the people instructing her to hurt our people. And this I'm demanding should be done no sooner than we leave here. We don't want her in Kisumu. We demand the immediate and firm action against the Linda Mwananchi leadership for the violence meted against our people. We ask the state security apparatus, and I mean the state security apparatus, and they are under the Constitution. It is not just the police, including NIS, the state security apparatus, including KDF, to arrest investigate, arrest, and prosecute Governor James Orengo, Honorable Babu Owino, Honorable Karoli Omondi, and Edwin Sifuna for planning, killing, and maiming our people under the guise of the 16th August rally. We demand the immediate arrest of all the listed thugs and criminals Governor James Orengo and Honorable Babu Owino and Sifuna used to harm our people on 16th and have provided their list. We demand investigations and action by the state security apparatus of the funding and support to the Linda Mwananchi group by President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and Rigathi Gachagua. I've told you Uhuru Muigai delivered 100 million to Governor James Orengo in the night of 14th. I've also told you that Rigathi Gachagua, that guy you always see around him wearing hoods, Morara, was in Homa Bay with Olivetti commanding the team that was killing our people. I thank you very much. I want to request my colleagues to make additions. Then we can. Let them make comments. Then we can respond to your issues. And let me say that this document, I've sent it to all the security apparatus for action with necessary evidence and material.